Hello and welcome to another edition of European Footballer Adda. It's been pretty long time that we have been online for obvious reasons with balancing careers, too much of work pressure. It has been a long time since we have been online. So this is the opportune moment we feel that we should be able to restart our journey of uh, enjoying football together with the showpiece every 4 years' time, the Football World Cup that is round the corner. So in 2026, football returns to a land where the sport once struggled to find its voice. And we are bringing in this show to present everything around this World Cup to you through our channel. Myself is Devupam, and I have with me Krishnendu to discuss
Hello.
the best of this World Cup that is about to come. So, this World Cup is bigger than anything we have seen before. 48 nations, 16 cities, three countries, and one continent, which is ready to host the world.
This isn't just a tournament, it's a statement, a celebration of the game and how far it has come and how far it can go.
So, if we look back at World Cup history, the last time this was held in the US was back in 1994. The last time more than one nation actually hosted the World Cup was back in 2002. So this is a global spectacle because this is a brand new vision for football and in World Cup. And this is like a new journey that is starting because it's going to reshape the future of the sport.
Let's start with the obvious. This is the biggest World Cup ever. 48 countries, 104 matches, a month long festival of football across North America.
That is important. It's across North America. Previously, we have had, like I said, there it was hosted between Japan and South Korea. Here it is being hosted by three nations: United States, Canada, and Mexico. Three cultures, three football identities, and one massive tournament.
And the scale is unprecedented. The stadiums are bigger, the distances are longer, the fan bases are much more diverse, and more importantly, it's a massive, massive tournament. And the stakes higher than ever.
So basically, this is a World Cup that is going to define the next generation of football followers because, as I said, this is the biggest ever World Cup. We are going to see 48 nations in play. So, to understand 2026, we possibly should be going back to 1994, the last time the World Cup came to the United States.
The World Cup that is often defined by the divine ponytail. 1994 was a turning point. It still holds a record for the highest average attendance in the World Cup history. It introduced millions of Americans to the global sport, and it directly led to the creation of the MLS, where we see Lionel Messi playing these days.
Not only that, uh, there has been a journey beyond just the creation of MLS, and that is how Americans are calling the sport. They are starting to call it football rather than soccer. So in 1994, US was a beginner. Now the US is one of the football nations in evolution. They have a strong domestic league, they have a passionate fan base, and a national team full of European based stars. However, don't discount the other two hosts, which is basically Canada and Mexico. Mexico has had a much more colorful history in the World Cup, and I'm sure that every time that Mexico has actually hosted a World Cup, there has been one or the other magical instances that has come to the fore.
Yes, we all remember the hand of God. But the last time the World Cup was co-hosted was in 2002, Japan and South Korea, and it was a memorable World Cup, if you all remember it.
Yeah, that was the first time that the World Cup came to Asia. It showed that co-hosting could work. It delivered unforgettable moments and also very controversial moments. South Korea went to the semi-finals at the cost of many European nations, which still to date stings and also has a cloud of controversy over it. However, everything was overshadowed by a record fifth title by Brazil and the coming of age of Ronaldo finally, which we did not see in the 1998 World Cup final.
But in 2026, co-hosting is a very different scale. Japan and South Korea were neighbors. US, Canada, and Mexico are neighbors as well, but it spanned across an entire continent.
Different climates, different cultures, different football histories. There would be amazing kind of uh, a milieu of emotions when you can think of from the northern reaches of Canada to the tropical reaches of Mexico is having one big football party and one shared stage. So that's going to be really a huge amount of um brand new memories that are going to be created. Let's now come to the format. We have been talking that this is the biggest World Cup ever. The format is one of the biggest structural change in modern World Cup history.
It's a huge change, and sometimes it can be confusing. 48 teams, 12 groups of four. Top two from each group advance, plus the eight best third place teams.
Now, that is something that had gone out of fashion. I think the last time we had a third place team that got through was when we changed from 20 when we were still at 24 countries were playing. Once we moved to 32 countries, it went out of the fashion. I still remember a lot of our World Cup winners or finalists actually qualified as one of the best third place teams. So this time, because it's a 48 team tournament, we are going to have a new round, which is the round of 32. It's an extra knockout round that adds more drama, more upsets, and more football.
Some fans love it, some fans hate it. If you remember, Portugal won the European Championship without winning a group game. But one thing is certain, it makes the World Cup bigger, more inclusive, and a little more unpredictable.
Let's talk about the three host nations first. I mean, of course, there are going to be big ticket teams which are favorites, and we will run through those favorites as also each group and give our predictions for the groups. But to talk about three host nations, which is going to be um, the first time that it's happening, but not the last time, because for sure the next World Cup you will see more and more host nations coming in. But this is going to be the first World Cup with three host nations. So US enters with its strongest generation of footballers ever, I would say. They have performed well. They have gone to the knockout rounds, but they have never really gone on beyond that. Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Adams, Musa, they're a squad full of European-based talent.
And they all play in front of massive home crowds, from New York to Los Angeles, from Atlanta to Seattle. Canada is experiencing a football renaissance as well. We all know Alfonso Davies of Bayern Munich, Jonathan David, a golden generation ready to make history.
Canada will have its host matches hosted at Vancouver and Toronto. So there will be electric atmosphere and a lot of adjustment that the other teams would have to do, because I'm sure that these two are less traveled spots for international teams. So to play a very talented Canada squad in their backyard will be very tough for some of the big teams. The third team in this group, in the hosting group, is probably the most accomplished host nation out of them. Mexico has been the flag bearer of North American football for a very long time. They have hosted the World Cup on two different occasions back in 1970 when Brazil won the World Cup, Jules Rimet World Cup, and then in 1986 when Maradona won the World Cup for the first time. Very passionate fans, very rich history of football, and a national team which is now will be under pressure to deliver success.
But because of war, we may not see another handball goal.
So yeah, so that will be something that was one of the things that will be at play in this World Cup. We will have a lot of VAR interruptions or checks that are mandated for this World Cup. Let's talk about the stadiums, cities, and atmosphere a bit. The stadiums are going to be enormous. It's going to be stadiums where NFL games are currently played. They're giants with capacities of 70,000 to 90,000. Only the very big European nations, prime, stadiums can probably match with this kind of a capacity.
Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, Toronto, Vancouver, Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey.
Every match may feel like a final, and every city will feel like a festival. I'm sure that the weather, this is going to be, this is being predicted as one of the years when we will have a huge El Nino, and we hope that, that doesn't impact the way that most of the fans are going to enjoy this World Cup.
And because North America is so multicultural, every team will have fans. Argentina, Brazil, England, Nigeria, Japan, as long as they get a US visa this time.
I don't think everyone will feel at home. There are a few Asian teams, okay, which we may talk about later, which will not feel at home. And then there are some former champions who have not qualified. Their fans will not feel at home for sure. And I'm talking about Italy, which has not qualified for the third year running. And the US has a huge Italian population. So I do wonder how they will put their support in this World Cup. But rest assured, like I said, that the size of the World Cup will create its own challenges. Like travel distances are massive, thousands of kilometers between matches. If your team is qualifying for one of the next round knockout rounds, and you have to move between countries to plan it well in advance, have your visa, have your tickets all done, it will be huge for the fans.
Forget countries, it takes 5 hours to travel from New York to LA, and there are 5 time zones in the United States. Climate differences are huge too. The heat of Mexico, the humidity of Miami, the cool air of Vancouver, the altitude of Mexico City.
Yeah, so this World Cup will test the fitness, recovery, and squad depth like never before for the participating teams as well as um, for the fans. Please remember that there is an additional round now, so you play one more match potentially for your run to the World Cup, and you actually have to travel around some of the countries because that's how the knockout rounds will get played.
The heat is going to be so bad that FIFA has allowed 3 minute intervals during each half to allow the players to get hydrated. The only problem is they're not allowing fans to bring water bottles to stadiums. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's really, the way FIFA has been operating lately with the annual FIFA Peace Prize. Uh,
I'm pretty sure there's not going to be another FIFA Peace Prize. Anyways,
we may have we may have a regular Peace Prize too, but only the same winner. That might also be a case. Who knows?
anyway,
There
football culture in North America has completely exploded. MLS is bigger. Liga Mexico is massive. Canada has its own league and it's growing. Youth participation is at an all time high.
And not just youth. I mean, there will be the US women's team also has been a dominant force in global football for decades. So there is a definitely a culture towards, in America of all places to have, football as a game for the masses. Earlier, it was only for the expats. Now it's a game for the masses. And that's how I said that the actual success of 2026 World Cup is the journey from soccer to football.
The World Cup isn't just a tournament, it's a celebration of the region that has completely embraced the sport.
Yeah, and really, this World Cup could reshape football globally. I'm saying because of the way that we are embracing a new structure. There are more teams coming in, more markets, more investment. But amidst all of this, please do remember the way that the broadcasting has been issue has been played, at least for in India, in a major market like India. Thankfully, sane voices prevailed at the end, and there was one broadcaster who came in to show a live telecast of these matches. But till I think 2 weeks back, there was still major confusion on how people will be able to see. Half of entirety of India was under confusion of how to see these matches live.
I think it would take a whole 1 hour for us to discuss the competence of FIFA. But let's just talk about the World Cup. This World Cup could redefine what football looks like in the future. It would get bigger, more inclusive, and more global. And for the US, Canada, and Mexico, it could spark a new era of football development.
I only want to highlight one point: more inclusive. If we can actually arrive at the end of the World Cup and truly say that this World Cup has been more inclusive, given the kind of world that we are currently living in, the kind of geopolitical situation and the way that it has impeded into our football senses, that is something that uh, can be a hindrance to this inclusivity. So, for the sake of everyone, I hope that this World Cup actually brings in more inclusiveness.
So here we are on the edge of the biggest World Cup ever, but we cannot forget the politics around this World Cup. We are going to watch a nation host a World Cup that started an illegal war in Asia that has basically brought world economy on the brink of collapse, and it's run by a raging lunatic, allegedly pedophile president. In Russia, when the World Cup was held in Russia and in Qatar, we saw a lot of people talk about human rights and the record of Russia and Qatar in human rights. But we do not see the same energy when it comes to the US that has illegally raided another South American country, that has brought Cuba to the brink of collapse. We don't talk about human rights here. We have to understand that some countries are, we all kind of think that all nations are equals, but some are more equal than we think.
So 2026 should not be equated to how the 1936 Olympics felt. That's the only hope that we have. We are probably going to see two of the biggest ever footballers ply their trade for the last time in a global stage. So it's going to be a month of roller coaster rides. May the best team win. May there be, a lot of brotherhood that people coming in from different countries can assimilate and enjoy and uh, contribute to our enjoyment of football as a whole.
And
So
hopefully, no brown fan gets picked up on the streets of the United States.
rest assured that we'll cover those also. At European Footballer Adda, this was just initiation into the World Cup. We will have group stage reviews or previews starting from tomorrow onwards, and we will try to give you those, finish them before the World Cup starts on 12th of June. And we'll then come for each after each match to discuss the points about that match, discuss and analyze about that match. Stay tuned. The road to the World Cup 2026 begins now. Thank you.